Hello, good evening and welcome back with the lesser covered stories today. The plight of white working class boys is a taboo subject in Westminster where their poor school results are ignored, says Tory MP Ben Bradley. Of course, given the whole cabinet reshuffle, we're going to be trying to oust people like this. Yes, Boris Johnson does have an 80-seat majority, but it doesn't seem like he wishes to do anything with it other than try and appease the people who will never be satisfied with anything that he does. What is he playing at? Why, if he's won over people who haven't voted Tory at all, ever, one of the places that haven't voted Tory since 1929, and some constituencies, of course, that have never voted Tory at all. Why is he then trying to say, okay, cool, thanks for your vote, let's maintain immigration so high. We're not accepting Article 13, but we're going to have our own speech regulations in place. We're going to care about political correctness and not allowing you to speak out about the things that are important to you. We're not going to help out the individuals get on their own feet and sort out their lives, but instead we're going to reappropriate your money into infrastructure projects that can have my name on it. Why the hell is he doing that? Is he going to be re-elected if he continues down this path? Well, maybe if someone like Rebecca really gets in to lead the Labour Party, and not someone who's more moderate like Keir Starmer, but I wouldn't count on that, Boris, I really wouldn't, because all you're saying is that you're not as bad as the worst candidate, but of course now that there isn't a Brexit party or a party that's further right, he's sliding to the left, because the Conservatives seem to just be going for power instead of keeping any principles whatsoever. So as we can see here from Ben Bradley, he's actually had the balls as an MP to say, yeah, if we're going to play the race card, then why don't we actually sort out what's happening with white working class boys? Because I'm pretty sure it's well established fact by now that they have it the worst. Because something constitutes a hate crime unless the person is white, straight and male. If they're not white, then of course they're BAME, they're a minority, even if they're not actually a minority from a population standpoint. If they're not straight, oh, then you're homophobic or transphobic. And if they're not male, then you're sexist or misogynistic, because sexist against men doesn't mean anything. Misogynistic is the only one that matters. So, the only time it can't be a hate crime is if it's against a straight white man. So any things that you see in the news of attacks or stabbings or shootings or violence, if it's not seen as a hate crime, that means the victim was white. And if it is, it means that they weren't. And of course, if they don't mention the race, you know that they're Pakistani. So, they say Mansfield MP says if any other group was doing as badly, there'd be outcry. Well, as there has been, of course, which is why there are quotas. And in America, they're changing the SAT standards dependent on where you're from. He challenged those who talk about white privilege to come to his constituency. Yes, again, to draw the American counterpart, people like Bernie Sanders saying that even the white people don't know what it's like to be poor, and that white homeless people have more privilege than an average black person. Then what the hell good is it to have this so-called privilege if it has no tangible benefit whatsoever? And they accuse modern society of ignoring their plight and allowing prejudice. Well, I wouldn't say it's modern society. I would say that society forever hasn't really cared about men. Men are expendable and women are sacred and must be cared for. That is why, up until about 100 years ago, only people with property could vote because it was them who had skin in the game. And then it was thought, okay, well, seeing as the First World War was such a catastrophe, if men are going to sacrifice their lives, then they should be given the right to vote so that they're not fighting for what they don't believe in. And then the suffragettes, not the suffragists, the suffragettes started blowing stuff up, and they thought, oh, okay, women, terrorists, we should give them the vote. To which most women said, no, because I don't want to have to go to war, I don't want to risk my life in order to vote, I would rather have my safety than my freedom. To which the government replied, how about you get the right to vote, but you don't have to sacrifice your life like the men do? Sound good? Like, yes, brilliant. Let's have that equal right for unequal responsibility. That's perfect. And that's something that's just been propagated on since then, of course, or from the beginning of time. Protect the women, men are expendable. Simple as that. So men take more risks, which is why you have twice as many female ancestors as male. That the men who aren't successful, of course, die out, and the men who are successful remain. Whereas with women, it doesn't make so much difference. So he says the plight of white working class boys is a taboo subject in Westminster, where their poor school results are ignored. He today told the Commons that modern society is ignoring the plight of white males from disadvantaged backgrounds, and he questions why there was not the same outcry about academic underperformance in those communities in the way the Mansfield MP says it would be for others. Well, that's simple, because you don't have the victim narrative that you can draw upon. People expect the white boys to just pull themselves together, which of course means they don't get the sympathy or the support. So most of them fall behind and are left with nothing. Some of them actually learn you're not given anything for free, and you have to work hard, and you have to make something happen for yourself if you're going to get anywhere in life. And because they learn that lesson early, they can supersede all of their competition, and they will remain to be the top earners, and you will not solve this so-called problem of income inequality across the sexes, because the top earners are men, because also the bottom earners are. 90% of the prison population is men. You want to make that equal? No, of course you don't. Women get lesser sentences for the same crime. So that isn't something that they want to sort out. It's like a service at a buffet. It's like, oh, right to vote. I'll take that. The draft. No, I'll leave that, thanks. So he says, imagine a legitimate public outcry there would be if a set of statistics show that disadvantaged black boys or Asian girls were way behind their white counterparts at school. Heads would roll. Yeah, this is precisely what's happening to white boys from disadvantaged backgrounds, and modern society is ignoring their plight. Mr. Wedley says that white boys from poor backgrounds are facing worse than any other race or ethnicity of boys. And the stats to show. He said, by the age of 5, they are 13% behind disadvantaged black boys. That's by the age of 5. By the age just 5, they are 13% behind disadvantaged black boys and 23% behind disadvantaged Asian girls in phonics, sounds, and they are 40% less likely to go into higher education than their black counterparts. But to say that would be racist. Of course, the ones that do go are going to be so much better because they've had to deal with everything themselves. Citing Boris Johnson's crushing of Labour's traditional support base in the North and Midlands at the general election, he said that now the Tories have broken the Red Wall, they must also defeat prejudices that have sent white working class boys to the bottom of the pile. Yes, actually be a patriotic party for once. Actually repeal these laws that disadvantage the natives of your own country. Why not give everybody a fair playing ground? Why not? Why not do what we did in the 1850s, where you actually repeal thousands of laws instead of just create new ones and leave the old ones on the book, so that in 30, 40 years' time they can bring up some old law about blasphemy and indict someone on it? Why not do that? So he said that the subject remains a taboo in Parliament and challenged those politicians who talk about white privilege to come to his constituency, where he said ex-coal miners who get the country's lights on are now dying early of lung disease from their jobs. Well, that's another one, isn't it? That we decided to create things like washing machines, and dishwashers, and tumble dryers, and labour-saving devices for women before life-saving devices for men. That's just another example. But apparently, it's a patriarchy. Mr. Bradley has argued for blue-collar conservatism and says that it should not be taboo to mention the fact that the race and background of the boys in question are causing them to miss out. Yes, they are being discriminated against, because apparently it's not racist if they're white. I'm sick of this shit from everyone. Boris should know better. The so-called Conservative Party should try and be conserving the British values, not kowtowing to the left, allowing these quotas and statements and laws to go unquestioned and unchallenged. Boris, if you want a bright future for the UK, then you better start to take care of the people who live in it.